What's up guys, Maxim here, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing fantastic, and today I'm going to be answering a question that I've been asked a lot, which is like cosmetic upgrades and which cosmetic you should actually focus on, which character and so on, and why. So hopefully like I'm going to be giving you like a kind of like a clear vision on my experience, at least on which characters you should actually focus on and which one you can actually skip or actually wait for until you actually have like enough cosmetics in order to work for. This is a question that I've been asked a lot, and I hope you guys find this helpful. Before jumping into it, if you guys are not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. We post 7 deadly sins videos daily, and yeah, it would be very helpful if you guys join the squad. I would really appreciate it. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. I prepared actually like some sort of like I don't know, like a chart here that hopefully it's going to be clear, but yeah, we're gonna be taking characters as we go, sort of like these characters that I'm not gonna place overall because it's not worth like getting cosmetics for, especially if you're free to play, and plus like especially if they're like characters that went irrelevant, like they used to be good and now they became like very irrelevant. But with that being said, let's jump right into it. I would say like King is a good thing to focus on because he's good at association, even though that he's not used anymore. He's actually really good association for like for a lot of characters. I would say like the all the sins, like and if you've been playing the game for a while, I think it's a must to have them like cosmetic upgraded, because they're really used on some of like the final bosses. Some of like the bosses probably that is actually coming in the future, and plus like most importantly is the associations, right? And if I put like a character here, it must be like for example, like because King and Merlin, like there is like only a limited amount of Merlins in the game, and they probably like share like the same like the same cosmetics. So if you upgrade their cosmetics, you're probably going to be sharing the same thing, and you can actually use between all kings. Yeah, let's get started on like the must ones. I would say like Droll is actually a really good character to focus on, but I think it's a late game character, especially for PvP. If you're gonna use him for PvP, I'm gonna go like randomly. Lost Vein is a must to work on because like it's a festival unit and they have like a really high CC. So even if you're not using them in the front end PvP or PvE, they're actually really good associations just to boost like other characters and so on. I would say Sariel is really important to work on because he's such a good PvE character, and plus like he's really good because of his associations as well, because his grace is very important in a lot of events and so on. So he's a really good association as well, and you can actually use him in PvP. So I would say like he's a must to work on, especially if you have him like high ult level. He could be a great association for a lot of characters. Of course, the one Ascanor, like one of the highest damage dealers in the game. So if you have him like worked on his cosmetics, I would say work on him, because he's gonna be like doing so much more damage when you actually like upgrade his cosmetic. I actually like have all his cosmetics maxed out as well, because when he first came out, like, and he's still relevant till today, and I think he's gonna be relevant in the future, unless like Netmarble decides to like to come up with some sort of like maybe like they did Derriere, right? Derriere used to be very relevant when it comes to like to a lot of final bosses, but they kind of limited her by making the final bosses do double damage against buff enemies and stuff. They could do the same to Ascanor, but I would say like he's very important, especially if you're planning to use him in PvP. So he's a must to focus on, and plus like he has a decent CC that you can actually use him for association as well, especially if you have like a really high ult level for him. I would say like Tarmiel. Tarmiel is such a good association because of his grace, which is like heals the enemies. Heal you based on your defense. So it's actually really good when you're taking damage. Like I use Tarmiel very consistently, especially that I have him like 6'6", so he's really important to actually like focus on and give him like the maximum amount of like defense and so on, because like the more maybe like work on his defensive like cosmetics first, because he's such a great link and association for a lot of characters. So yeah, I would say like slowly work on him. Gowther is a must. Like Green Gowther is such a great character that is actually used in both PvE and PvP. So I would say like he's a must. So when I say Gowther, like even if I place the red one, I'm gonna remove the red one. So even if I place like the green one, it's gonna mean like because they share the same cosmetics, you can actually use them on all Gowthers, and if you upgrade them, let me show you how. Like it's easier like to show you guys like an example. Which example can I use? Maybe Demon Meliodas here. So or I can show you guys like maybe Derriere, for example. Like if you have Derriere's cosmetic maxed out, such as here. Like I have all her weapons and some of her cosmetics maxed out there. So if I go to any of the other Derrieres, they're going to be automatically maxed out as well because they share the same cosmetics. So yeah, all the weapons are pretty much like maxed out there. So yeah, so if I place one here, it means that they're going to be sharing the same one. So which is really good because cosmetic upgrades are such a pain in the butt. I would say Lilia is good to focus on, must focus on, I would say, because she's used in almost every final boss. And if you like using Pierce to farm something, I think she's very good. I would say like she's, I would say important for late game, unless like you're using her regularly for farming. I would say important for late game because such like Droll, she's like kind of the character that you can actually slowly work on until you actually start using her. So I would say like important for late game. I would say like actually like Demon Meliodas is such a good character to work on because he's such a like a tricky character because he's even if you're not using him, he's such a good association, such as like for Derriere. He's such a good association for a lot of other like characters, like such as like the Sins and everyone. So I would say he's such a good like association for even Goddess Elizabeth as well. So I would say like he's a must to actually work on. Yeah, work on his cosmetics as well. I'm not gonna place like the characters that didn't come to the game yet, because I want you guys like to test them out before you actually do anything. I would say King is sort of like a whale, like only for whales, I would say, and only if you have him 6'6". I would say like he's like worth maxing out his cosmetics because he's very used in anvil farming. And also, like, he's very good for, like, the new expected, like, super coin farming as well. There is a strategy around him. He's such a tricky character, so I would say, like, only for whales. So I changed it to only for whales. And depending on, like, the old level that you have, because he can be a great association because he has one of the highest CC in the game. So I would say, like, it's good to work on his cosmetics. Red Zeldris is a must focus on, I would say, because he's such a great association for a lot of characters. And not to forget, like, even if you actually eventually decide to use like Red Zeldris, Blue Zeldris, sorry, you can actually like share the same cosmetics from the same one. And I would say like Red Zeldris is such a late game. I would say late game, important for late game. Because he has one of the highest CC in the game, so he can be very relevant, and he's still relevant because especially if you're planning to use Assault Meliodas, yeah, I have his cosmetics upgraded actually, and I have all his cosmetics as well bought. This is something that I should have said from the start, but it's always good to buy at least 5 weapons, 5 headpieces, and 5 for characters that have their cosmetics available for these characters. So make sure you actually have 5 of each, because if you go here, you can only have 5 weapons, for example, or 5 headpieces up here, hanged. So you can actually get the extra effects here. So yeah, make sure you do that and work on those 5 like slowly and gradually. Like, even if you see here, I've been playing the game for a bit over 5 months now, and I still don't have all the cosmetics upgraded because they are such a pain in the butt, especially if you don't have like the characters that guarantee you enhancement materials. So make sure you actually like focus on your PvP team first, and then slowly gradually work on these characters that are a must, because they're going to be a great association for a lot of characters in the future. I would say a character that you can actually work on if you're planning to use Assault Meliodas in PvP. He's going to be a must to have like those extra stats, and yeah, cosmetics like give the extra boost for a lot of characters, so I think it's a must to work on. Some of these characters are like depending on your PvP uses, or like if you're farming or something. I would say Derriere is I would say important for late game, because if you're planning to join a competitive knighthood, the first thing that they're going to be looking at is actually a high ult level for Derriere, and also like cosmetics like maxed out for her. Because if you're planning to like to push like guild wars and everything, you have to like to score very good in knighthood bosses, and most of the knighthood bosses actually surround Derriere. And even if there isn't like a strategy on how you can actually do it with Derriere, like someone is gonna discover something that makes Derriere more relevant. So I would say like work on her and max her out, because she's very important for almost every knighthood right now, and every strategy is surrounded her. So I would say like important for late game, like slowly and gradually work on her. The moment that you decide to join a better guild, that is one of the requirements to work on your score, like the knighthood boss score. You probably have to like to max her out and everything. So I would say important for late game, which is like slowly to work on. I would say like Diane is actually really good to work on as well, because she's a great association for King, and a lot of other characters as well. And plus like Matrona Diane is actually really good to have in PvP, and she's very useful. She's like a great counter for a lot of characters, especially for her taunt and so on. So gradually work on her. I would say like important for late game. I'm gonna place her there. It's much better, I would say. Who else that we can actually put as an important... I feel like I'm missing some characters. I would say that Death Pierce is actually only for whales, because he's like a character that requires like to be used in PvP, for example, because of his passive. But his cosmetics are such a pain in the butt to upgrade, and plus like his cosmetics are like are kind of expensive to get and so on, and you need UR gear for him. So he's such a whale unit. She's very important when it comes to like the knighthood bosses. So she's a late game kind of character to work on, at least like her defensive pieces, because like when I joined like my current guild, which is like a bit competitive and goes to sort of like joins kind of sort of like knighthood bosses, like it's very surrounded knighthood bosses. I've been asked to like to actually work on her cosmetics in order to like to reach a certain defensive stats for her. So I would say she's a late game character that you probably worth investing like on her defensive pieces. So probably late game, I would say. Like it depends on your kind of, I would say, progression in the game. So make sure you do that. Who else am I missing? Luducio is such a whale unit. He has like a lot of pros and a lot of cons, mainly because his grace is really good. If you have him like 6/6, he can be like a great association for a lot of characters, because his grace actually stops the enemy from stunning you and petrifying you. And the cons is actually like his grace is very limited to 2 turns only. And plus, like he's outside like PvP, he's not used for anything else. So getting his cosmetics like upgraded, I would say is such a... I would say like such a late game thingy if you're like planning to spend money in the game. And if you happen to have him like 6/6 and you're planning to use him in PvP, then go for it. But otherwise, I would skip him. There is a lot of like characters that are a must first and like their top priority to work on, I would say, before him. So keep that in mind. I think like I didn't miss anything. I think we have everything. Oh, there, of course, her. Like it is a must to have like her cosmetics upgraded. She's used in every PvP, and sometimes you can actually use her for PvE content as well. Hendrickson, if you're using, oh shit, where's Hendrickson? Where did he go? He disappeared. Anyway, Green Hendrickson, there he goes. I would say like if you have King maxed out, and if you like the character, I think he's good for late game. Because there is a strategy around like surrounding gold farming to have like his cosmetics and everything to do the extra damage. It's not a must, but if you want to go out of your way to actually like get his cosmetics and also like upgrade them, then maybe in the future, like in a late game, and especially if you have like Festival King and you're planning to use him in PvP, which is not relevant anymore, you have to like to have the high CC for both characters. In order to like to start first, because if King starts second, he's pretty much like in a big problem. So yeah, it's worth like to have his cosmetics upgraded. So I'm gonna place him here. Work on if you like the character. I feel like it's much more relevant for him. Giant Diane. Giant Diane, I feel like she's going to be relevant in the late game, and plus like she has a decent CC, which makes her like sort of like a good link for a lot of characters. So I would say slowly work on her, like maybe late game sort of. Once like you have excess and you worked on the must focus on characters, I would say. You probably should work on her, and yeah, she's a good link for a lot of characters, and plus she's used in some of the final bosses as well, so it's probably good for to work on her. Honestly, there is a lot of characters here that you can actually work on or upgrade depending on if you actually like the character or not, because like if you're not enjoying the game, then it's not worth playing. So keep that in mind. I'm really thinking about characters that you can actually work on. I would say like these characters, if you like the character, I would say you can actually work on her. Milaskala is good for Assault Meliodas if you're planning to use him in PvP for a long term. If you like the character as well, she's not bad in PvP right now, so you can actually use her depending on if you have all her cosmetics and stuff. And she's very relevant in PvP only, unfortunately. So if you enjoy the character, so why not work on her? I would say if you like the character, because it's not relevant anymore. He's used in what is it called? He's used in Knighthood Wars, but you can't get his cosmetics unfortunately anymore. So so it's a problem to work on, to be honest with you. I don't have all his cosmetics, and collab units never get their cosmetics back, so it's an issue. It's a huge issue. Shin, where's the Green Shin? Green Shin is a good character to work on, like for late game, to get his cosmetics and get them upgraded, because not the red one, like the green one, but they share the same, because I didn't find the green one here. Where's the green one? But he's good for gold farming and a lot of like farming kind of scenarios. So if you want to have like the maximum damage while farming, so then why not actually get his cosmetics and actually work on them slowly. I'm honestly like thinking of giving like Shin like UR gear, just like the top pieces, like the attack pieces, in order for him to farm gold faster, because like gold is gonna be a really important thing like in the game. So yeah, who else you can actually upgrade? I feel like Easton is very relevant, like especially the blue one. Probably like really late game to have her cosmetics and actually get them upgraded. Because like I said, it's impossible to upgrade every single cosmetics, unfortunately, because it's such a pain to actually farm cosmetic enhancement without the events and everything else, because you get one like per raid, like guaranteed, and if you don't have like the characters that make you or guarantee you to get cosmetic upgrade materials, you're going to take like months in order to actually max out one character. And I hope they actually change that, because cosmetic enhancement is such a pain right now. So I would say yeah, Easton is actually good to work on. like probably slowly to get like her cosmetics and everything. She's good for the knighthood bosses, and she's one of the best buffers in the game. So you can actually have her at least like head pieces and probably like defensive pieces in order for her to survive, like maxed out and have like her extra stats. I would say Glox is a good character to work on if you like the character. Like when I say green, it means the red one. Yeah, because the green one is very irrelevant, but the red one is actually good in Assault Meliodas. She's really good and relevant in the knighthood boss, in the knighthood wars in the future. I would say King Arthur is actually good association for a lot of character, and he's one of the good buffers. So getting his cosmetics not upgraded, I would say like get his cosmetics for the extra stats would be very, very good. And plus like they're shared between all Arthurs. So and a lot of people actually have them maxed out. Because if you used to use Merlin like in the back as ult rush, you probably have Arthur maxed out because he's a good link for Merlin. So why not having him having his cosmetics at least and work on them slowly? So I would say like maybe late game, once like you're done with the must focus on characters. Who else? I think I focused on the most important ones. I would say like Athena. If you like the character, as well, and you have all his cosmetics as well, it's very tricky to actually like find characters that are a must. I would say Munspeed as well. Munspeed is such a fun character. I have all his cosmetics, but I don't have them maxed out right now. I believe I have everything for him, but I don't have him maxed out yet. Yeah, I have the Christmas one. Yeah, he has 5 bodies and 5 weapons as well, like almost all UR, and also like he has some head pieces that eventually maybe if I decide to like to work on the character, I'm probably gonna max him out because he's such a fun character to work with. Who else can we actually add to the list? Because like the thing is that most of these characters are actually linked to each other, and if you have one character like maxed out, one of them, you're probably gonna share it from the same one as well. Oh yeah, like one last advice is actually there is characters that actually share the same cosmetic, which is like the one Ascanor, I believe. This is something that I didn't do, and I totally regret. Because this character, like this specific cosmetic, you can actually share between all Ascanors. So having it like maxed out, you can actually like use it on other Ascanors as well. So because like if you go to Ascanor here, you're probably gonna find the same thing. Yeah, there. You're probably gonna find the same cosmetics, so having it maxed out is actually really, really worth. So why not do that? Okay. All right, I think I focused on everything, and if I missed something, please head over to the comments and let me know what did I miss. I feel like I missed something. But yeah, these are the characters, in my opinion, that you should actually work on. Valenti is good for like knighthood like wars as well in the future because of her resistance. But let me know if you guys think that I should have added someone else into the mix. I don't think I mixed like or missed anyone because, yeah, like I said earlier, they're mostly shared between characters, which is a good thing because if they didn't, oh my god, we're gonna be in such a big problem. But I hope you guys find this helpful, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like, as all likes are really, really appreciated and do help the channel to grow. Subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, work on these characters if you like them, I guess. So yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.